there exists a silent rebellion, one not fought with arms but with ideas. It is a revolution against the grind, against the false gospel of suffering for success. For centuries, men have chained themselves to toil, believing that riches are born only from sweat. But what if true wealth begins not in the hand, but in the mind? This is not a tale of shortcuts. It is not for the idle dreamer who lacks discipline. This is a revelation for the one who dares to believe that ease and abundance are not enemies, but partners. If you have the courage to dream richly and live deliberately, yes, even lazily, this philosophy will rewire your reality. Wealth begins in silence, not in struggle. Close your eyes and the world disappears. The noise, the bills, the deadlines, the sweat, they all vanish in the stillness behind your eyelids. It is there, in that silence, that every fortune is born. We've been conditioned to associate wealth with hustle, with calloused hands and sleepless nights, with grinding through tasks and clawing through competition. But the greatest lie ever told is this, that struggle is the only path to success. It is not. The true path to wealth does not begin in action, it begins in thought. Every empire begins in the invisible. Before the first brick is laid, before the first dollar is earned, there is a vision, a spark, a dream. The man who understands this knows that silence is not emptiness, it is creation. In silence, the soil of the subconscious mind is tilled and made fertile. And whatever seed you plant there, watered by belief and nurtured by imagination, will inevitably take root and grow. Look around you. Every invention, every skyscraper, every fortune was first a thought in someone's mind. Before it was real, it was imagined. But most people never stop to cultivate this creative silence. They are too busy reacting, chasing, running, struggling. And in that constant struggle, they block the very channel through which wealth flows. The mind, left undirected, becomes a prison of limitation. It plays the same old tune of scarcity, doubt, and fear. But when you become its master, it becomes your most obedient servant. Train it to dwell on prosperity, and it will search tirelessly for paths to it. Feed it images of abundance, and it will reshape your beliefs and your behavior until your outer world matches your inner one. There is no poverty in silence. There is only potential. Struggle, on the other hand, is often a symptom of misalignment. A man who is in harmony with his purpose does not need to push so hard. Things begin to move for him. He attracts ideas, people, and circumstances. Not because he's working harder, but because he is working from a higher plane, the plane of thought. The lazy man, the one who dares to stop, reflect, and direct his mental energy, becomes dangerous. Not because he is idle, but because he is focused. Stillness gives him power others never touch. He may appear inactive, but internally he is building empires. While others are burning out, he is building up momentum in the unseen world. Do not confuse silence with weakness. Do not mistake stillness for sloth. The man who learns to command his inner world, who disciplines his mind to reject fear and dwell only on his vision, will eventually find the world bending to his will. That is not magic. That is mental cause and material effect. You are not paid by the hour. You are paid by the value you create, and value is born in the mind. Before you reach for the tool, reach for the thought. Before you open your mouth, open your mind. In that space, you become powerful. In that space, you create deliberately. Take time every day to sit with your dream. Let the noise die. Let the world wait. In that quiet, you will hear the whispers of wealth calling you. Not to struggle, but to imagine. Not to chase, but to attract. Not to survive, but to create. 2. Desire is the lazy man's fuel. Desire is not a wish. It is not a fleeting thought or a passing want. It is the engine of all achievement. It is the fire behind every fortune, the current beneath every calm exterior. The man who dreams richly and lives lazily understands this simple truth. You don't need to move faster. You need to want more, and want it deeply. Most people confuse movement with progress. They chase busy schedules, fill their lives with endless tasks, and measure success by exhaustion. But motion without meaning is wasted energy. A wheel can spin forever and go nowhere. It is not movement that creates destiny. It is direction powered by desire. The lazy man, if he is wise, does not waste effort. He knows that the strongest force in the universe is a clear, burning desire held steadily in mind. Desire is not about effort. It's about intensity. One man works 10 hours a day and barely scrapes by. Another sits in reflection, fueled by obsession, and within a year attracts more opportunity than most see in a lifetime. You do not have to chase what you desire if your desire is strong enough. It begins to chase you. That is the paradox of effortless wealth. The more clearly you desire, the less effort you need to exert. This is not mysticism. It is mental law. The subconscious mind is a powerful builder, but it needs a blueprint. Desire is that blueprint. It tells your mind what to notice, what to seek, what to act upon without hesitation. The man with a burning desire does not need alarm clocks. He doesn't need motivation from outside. The vision pulls him. It fuels his actions, his decisions, and his discipline, not through force, but through focus. When your desire is sharp enough, you don't waste energy. You only act when action matters. And here lies the genius of living lazy. Rather than spreading energy across 1,000 directions, the dreamer focuses like a laser. He is not working harder. He is aiming better. He does not move more often. He moves with purpose. This is the kind of laziness that leads to greatness, not the laziness of neglect, but the laziness of precision. Desire also simplifies. When you know what you want with burning clarity, you no longer need to be everything to everyone. You shed distractions. You say no with confidence. You eliminate what doesn't serve. And in doing so, you conserve your greatest resource, your energy. The truth is, most people don't lack discipline. They lack desire. If your goal does not move you emotionally, if it does not excite your spirit, if it does not wake you up in the middle of the night with visions of its fulfillment, then it is not a true desire. It is just a mild preference. And mild preferences never build empires. A strong desire will do your work for you. It will move mountains in your mind. It will push fear aside and build bridges over doubt. It will reach people you've never met and create events you could never plan. But it only works if you trust it, if you let it burn uninterrupted. This is why the lazy dreamer wins. He is not distracted by the grind. He is not seduced by the noise. He sits with his desire until it becomes real, first in his mind, then in his life. He does not beg for wealth. He magnetizes it. Not by chance, but by choosing to want with such intensity that the universe cannot ignore him. If you wish to live well and live easy, start here. Desire something so deeply that everything else becomes irrelevant. Burn the image into your mind, feel it in your bones, see it in your silence, and then let that desire do the heavy lifting. Because the man who desires greatly works lightly. He is not carried by the world, he carries the world within him. 3. Action without alignment is a trap. The world is obsessed with action. Do more, they say. Hustle harder, sleep less, push through. This is the anthem of the desperate. But here is a truth they don't teach in schools or boardrooms. Action without alignment is a trap. Not all motion is progress. A man running in circles is busy but going nowhere. A worker hammering the wrong wall is loud but useless. Effort alone does not equal success. Aligned action, action that springs from clarity, purpose, and deep inner resonance, is what builds empires. Everything else is just noise. The dreamer who lives lazily is not lazy because he refuses action. He is lazy because he refuses waste. He will not lift a finger unless it moves the needle. He understands that every act must serve the vision, not just the moment. He does not confuse sweat with significance. Before he moves, he listens to himself. He aligns his actions with his dream, his energy, and his timing. He asks, is this action necessary? Is it in harmony with where I am going? Or am I acting out of fear, guilt, or habit? The man who asks these questions becomes dangerous because he no longer moves blindly. He becomes a precision weapon, not a blunt tool. The hustle culture rewards noise, not results. It glorifies exhaustion as if being tired were a badge of honor. But what is the value of 1,000 actions that accomplish nothing? Better one step on the right path than 100 steps in the wrong direction. Aligned action is powerful because it comes from inner clarity. When your mind, emotions, and purpose point in the same direction, your actions become inevitable. You don't need to force them, they flow from you naturally. That's why the aligned dreamer may seem effortless. He's not skipping the work, he's skipping the waste. When you act without alignment, you betray your higher self. You become reactive, scattered, fragmented. You say yes to things that don't belong to you. You chase goals that don't fit your soul. And eventually, you burn out. Not because you did too much, but because you did too much that didn't matter. But when you act from alignment, every move has meaning. You make fewer decisions, but better ones. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You work less, but your results grow larger. Why? Because aligned action carries the full weight of your inner power. There is no resistance in it, only flow. This is not about passivity. This is not permission to sit and wait forever. It is a call to inner stillness before outer movement, to pause, to listen, to align, to make sure that when you do move, you are moving in the direction of your dream, not away from it in disguise. Alignment also means trusting timings. The desperate man wants results now. He acts in panic, not purpose. But the aligned dreamer understands that timing is part of success. He does not act to look busy. He acts when the moment is right. And when he does, his impact is multiplied. 4. The irony is this. The man who waits for alignment will often get there faster than the one who rushes without it. Because the aligned man moves with power, not panic. With intention, not impulse. He does more by doing less, but doing it well. Before you act, pause. Check the compass. Is this action born from fear or faith? From your vision or someone else's? From your alignment or your anxiety? Let these questions guide you. Let your dream be your filter. Because action's not the secret, aligned action is. And once you grasp that, you will stop running and start rising. You will trade exhaustion for elegance, chaos for clarity, and you will find that living lazy is not about doing nothing. It's about doing only what truly matters. 4. Systems are the lazy man's empire. The average man works for money. The wise man builds systems that make money work for him. One toils from sunup to sundown, exchanging time for scraps. The other moves with precision, building quiet machines that never sleep. If there is one secret that separates the perpetually tired from the effortlessly wealthy, it is this: system. A system is a silent servant. Once built, it performs, it earns, it scales, it multiplies, and it does so without complaint, without fatigue, and without your constant presence. The lazy man, if he is intelligent, knows he cannot afford to work forever. His goal is not to do the work, but to design the work. Most men are addicted to being busy. They are terrified of stillness, afraid that if they stop moving, they will fall behind. But the truly free man does not fear stillness. He seeks it. He understands that freedom does not come from more work, but from better systems. Consider the farmer who grows wealthy not by chasing every cow, but by building fences. Consider the investor who earns returns not from daily effort, but from putting systems in place that turn capital into cash flow. Consider the creator who sells a digital product once and is paid for it 1,000 times. These are not accidents. They are systems. The lazy man with vision is not idle, he is architecting. He is setting up machines of value. A business that runs on processes, an investment that pays dividends, a team that moves without micromanagement, a content engine that produces income around the clock. This is not passive in the beginning. It takes effort to build. But it is passive in the end. And that end is freedom. You do not get rich by doing more. You get rich by doing once what continues to pay you forever. A system may be as simple as an automated email funnel, a daily routine that produces creative output, or a set of rules for investing. What matters is not complexity. What matters is repeatability. What you want is to remove yourself from the equation without removing the results. This is the lazy man's genius. He designs outcomes, not chores. Systems are also powerful because they multiply your energy. 1 hour spent building a system can save you 100 hours down the road. It is leverage. It is exponential. And it is permanent. Once built, it keeps working whether you are asleep, sick, or surfing in the Caribbean. Most people never build systems because they are too busy chasing short-term wins. They think in days, not decades. But wealth belongs to those who think structurally. Who think, how can I replace myself? How can I make this automatic? How can I get paid again and again for the same work? The irony is, systems require more thought up front, but they save a lifetime of labor. And the man who dares to slow down long enough to build them is the one who ends up accelerating far beyond his peers. If you want to be rich, become a builder of systems. Replace effort with design. Replace presence with process. Replace busyness with automation. Let others chase their next paycheck. You'll be busy collecting royalty. Let others fill their calendar with tasks. You'll be sipping coffee while your machine runs. Because once you understand this truth, you are no longer working to stay alive, you are working to disappear. To build an empire that stands even when you are no longer standing. And that, my friend, is how the lazy man lives like a king. 5. Environment is the hidden partner in wealth. You are not just a product of your thoughts, you are a product of your surroundings. A diamond cannot form in open air. It requires pressure, heat, and time. Likewise, the dreamer who wishes to live richly and lazily must place himself in an environment that shapes, supports, and sustains his vision. Because environment is not passive, it is power. Your environment is your unseen partner. It whispers to your subconscious. It molds your habits. It affects how you think, feel, and act without ever asking your permission. Most people live in environments that contradict their dreams. They surround themselves with noise, scarcity, distraction, and doubt, and then wonder why wealth escapes them. The truth is simple. If your environment opposes your goal, your progress will always be like a struggle. But the wise dreamer understands leverage. He knows he can't fight his surroundings forever, so instead of resisting them, he designs them. He creates an environment that nudges him toward success without force, without effort. Like a river that shapes a stone through constant contact, the right environment sculpts a wealthy mind and a wealthy life. Start with your space, your room, your desk, your phone, your inbox. These are not neutral. They are either distractions or declarations. They either call you toward your higher self or pull you into smallness. Declutter your world and you declutter your mind. Beautify your surroundings and you elevate your spirit. Simplicity is not just aesthetic. It is strategic. Next, look at your relationships. Who do you speak to daily? Who do you listen to? Who do you allow to speak into your future? Energy is contagious and proximity is power. If you spend time with the frantic, the fearful, the small-minded, you will slowly become one of them. But surround yourself with visionaries, with creators, with calm confidence, and your standards will rise automatically. Environment isn't just physical, it's also informational. What are you feeding your mind? Social media scrolls and shallow news create mental chaos. But one good book, one powerful idea, one audio that reminds you of your power, that can shift your trajectory forever. Input determines output. Protect your mental environment like a garden. Keep out the weeds of fear, gossip, and mediocrity. Now consider your habits. Habits are environments in motion. Patterns that repeat until they become character. Do you start your day with purpose or with panic? Do you reflect or do you react? The lazy man who lives richly builds rituals that sustain him. Not rigid schedules, but nourishing rhythms. A quiet morning, a focused hour, a weekly reset. These invisible structures become the framework of his fortune. The environment also includes your digital world, your calendar, your tools, your money systems. Are they chaotic or intentional? Every point of friction costs energy. Every inefficiency drags down your clarity. Streamline your systems. Automate your flows. Let your tools serve you quietly in the background, so your mind can remain free for vision. Ultimately, the dreamer who wins is not the one who tries harder. It's the one who designs smarter. He does not rely on willpower because he knows willpower fades. But an environment built for success makes right action the path of least resistance. He makes thriving the default, not the exception. Ask yourself, does my environment reflect my future or my past? Does it uplift or suppress? Am I planting seeds in fertile ground or scattering them on stone? Because when your environment is aligned with your dream, wealth becomes a natural outcome. You no longer have to force success. You simply allow it. You no longer chase opportunity. It finds you because you are already standing in the right soil. Change your environment and you change your life. Not through struggle, not through hustle, but through silent, sustained support. And that, my friend, is how the lazy man moves without effort, by letting his environment carry him forward. 6. Time is a tool, not a taskmaster. The average man is a slave to the clock. He wakes when it screams, he moves in panic, races through tasks, collapses into sleep, and does it all again. His days blur together in a fog of obligation. He believes time owns him. But the wise man, the lazy man with vision, knows better. He knows that time is not a taskmaster. It is a tool, and like any tool, it must be shaped, direct, and bent to your will. You are not meant to run against time. You are meant to use it. Most people speak of time as if it were their enemy. I don't have enough. I'm running out. There is never enough time. But these are not statements of fact. They are confessions of surrender. Time, in truth, is infinite. What is limited is not time, but attention. And when your attention is scattered, time appears short. When your attention is focused, time stretches and multiplies. The man who dreams richly and lives lazily is not owned by the ticking of the clock. He does not fill his calendar with chaos or measure his worth by how busy he is. Instead, he honors his time as a sacred currency. He spends it only where it multiplies, on rest, creation, relationships, and systems that last. He understands this. There is no virtue in being busy. Activity is not achievement. Time used does not equal time well spent. So he becomes ruthless, not with speed, but with clarity. He asks, what must I do to move the needle? And then he eliminates everything else. The truth is, time obeys the focused mind. 1 hour of pure intention is worth more than 10 hours of scattered effort. That is the edge of the lazy man who succeeds. He does less, but what he does matters. He doesn't chase time, he bends it to serve him. Man also knows the difference between urgency and importance. The world worships urgency. It shouts through phones, emails, deadlines. But urgency is often the voice of other people's priorities. Importance, however, is quiet. It whispers from within. It says, build the vision, protect your energy, play the long game. The man who listens to importance over urgency will always live above the noise. He designs his time like an architect, not a laborer. His mornings are not for reacting, but for creating. His afternoons are structured for leverage. His evenings are not filled with guilt, but gratitude. He protects his schedule the way a king protects his throne, because he knows that what fills your calendar eventually shapes your character. The lazy man is not lazy in spirit, only in waste. He refuses to waste his time on low-level thinking, petty distractions, or social obligations that steal more than they give. He works in sprints, rests with intention, and honors the natural rhythms of his body and mind. He does not fear slowing down. He fears moving without meaning. Even his rest is strategic. He understands that rest is not the absence of progress. It is part of the process. Clarity comes in stillness. Ideas are born in space. Creativity thrives not in pressure, but in play. So he lets time serve him, even when he's doing nothing, especially when he's doing nothing. But time, used correctly, compounds like wealth. A single choice made today can ripple through decades. A habit formed now can yield fortunes later. The wise man uses time not to chase money, but to build machines, moments, and mindsets that create wealth without constant motion. Ask yourself, are you using time? Or is time using you? Are you reacting to life or designing it? Because the moment you reclaim your time, you reclaim your power. And once you control your time, you control your destiny. The lazy man who understands time is not lazy at all. He's simply living on his own terms. And that, in the end, is the ultimate wealth. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this. The life of the lazy dreamer is not one of inaction, but of intelligent design. It is not about avoiding work. It's about doing work that matters, work that flows with purpose, and work that aligns with your deepest desires. The rich life is not earned by grinding away every hour, but by strategically using your time, energy, and attention. The true essence of wealth lies not in doing more, but in doing less of what doesn't move you toward your dream. It is about creating systems that work for you, curating your environment to support your vision, and building desires so strong that they pull you forward effortlessly. The lazy man is not lazy by nature. He is simply a master of ease. He understands that effort without alignment is a trap. He knows that money does not come from frantic action, but from purposeful, focused effort. And most importantly, he has realized that time is his greatest asset, not something to be squandered in haste, but something to be wielded with wisdom. Choose your environment. Design your systems. Align your actions. Focus your desires. And above all, understand that time is on your side, not because it waits for you, but because you use it with power and precision. As you walk this path, know this: you are not meant to chase wealth. You are meant to attract it. Live the lazy dream. Build your empire without breaking a sweat. And let the world see you rise, not with effort, but with elegance. Because the richest lives are built on the foundation of smart, purposeful living, not hard, exhausting labor. Now take this wisdom with you and begin living the life you've always dreamed of, effortlessly rich in all the ways that matter.